hack, executed. So we've executed the hack.
Unhack, unhack, unhack. Okay, looks like we got Tater's channel back from Rebecca. So let's use this opportunity to take a look at DevStream 129. Now the first thing we'll look at is Gauss, the newest frame to be shown off by the developers. Especially since he's one out of the 2 frames that were shown off at TennoCon that got a lot of hypes around him when they showed him running across water. Speaking of which, his first ability can be tapped for a short burst of speed, or held for a consistent drain to increase your speed, and this gives you the ability to walk on water. However, as Rebecca showed us, you might not want to stop on water.
His burst of speed is with his one ability, it's called Mock Rush, and it's very much rooted in a single direction. Your camera turn.
So good.
So I'm obviously not Connor. So you can run on water.
But you can't stop on water.
But you can't stop on water.
Now holding down his first ability does come at a cost of maneuverability, so you won't be making sharp left or right turns like Volt can. The good news, however, is if you run into walls or enemies, you will do damage, and it will build up your gauge next to your energy bar.
In corridors, his whole gameplay is rooted around that burst of speed and actually using the environment to create pulses of essentially mock energy. So you actually want to be running into things in the corridor. I had an exterminate mission lined up. I'll see if I can just do it here. But when you hit something, you actually create a massive wave.
Oh, cool.
So you want to be running into things. So you hear that sound in Payback, you want to be hitting
You want
walls.
the headbutt?
Yeah,
Yep.
so whether or not you're just going free running on the plains, or you're in a corridor and you see an enemy, if you do that, that will take down enemies. So it's literally ramming speed. So
Hitting them or hitting the environment?
them or the environment.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's all about that speed. And then yeah, I killed him.
Oh, cool.
So I killed that.
His second ability will protect you from cold and heat damage. However, this does come at the cost of draining your gauge. On the plus side, while it protects you from those 2 damage types, it will be giving you back small chunks of energy. Also, while it's active, and you use your first ability and slam into an enemy, you will be causing slash procs. My only issue with this is that it seems a little bit limited, and I kind of would prefer it if it protected you from all incoming damage. However, I won't jump the gun, and I'll see how it performs in game. Also, you can turn on and off that ability if you want to hold on to what you've stored in that gauge for any particular moment in time while playing. His third ability is another tap or hold casting one. So you can tap it to cause a cold area effect circle around you, or you can hold it to cause a heat proc. Now here's where more synergy comes into play with the frame. You can cast the cold AoE and then the heat AoE, and these 2 statuses together will cause a blast damage area of effect.
Tap 3 to create a cold AoE. Hold 3 to create a heat AoE. Now this is one thing players have wanted in Warframe as a while, is combining statuses with a Warframe. So if you hit an enemy with the cold, then the hot, it creates a blast proc, because you're essentially harnessing that energy so fast
Combines, yeah.
that bam, you get a combination.
That's great.
So there's also if you just tap twice, anyone affected by cold will freeze, and if you hold twice, anyone affected by heat will get an improved DOT effect with the heat proc.
And more importantly, it sounds cool.
This sounds pretty cool for crowd control. However, blast damage is not one of the strongest damaging abilities, so this is another one where I gotta see how it plays out during the game. Now Gauss also has an RPM meter, and when it's full, this allows you to unlock his 4th ability. And when you cast it, you'll be able to fill up the top half of your gauge, which increases your movement, reload, and melee speed, and it also increases your damage. I'll let Rebecca show you how it's done.
So one thing that we've only talked about briefly is my RPM meter at the side there. You can see it's at full. If I hit my ultimate, you might want to mute this again for sound. I'm going above that rev limiter. I'm heading into the 100. Once I hit 100%, my reload speed, my damage, my melee speed, my running speed, everything is just better. It's kind of like enhance your kit, the ability. It is called Redline. It's creating damage projectiles for you.
And the mesh actually all opens up.
Yeah, you can see I have. Yeah, you can see the mesh opening up.
Yep.
And once the duration of this ability ends, it will take away any of your meter, provided it's under the Redline cap.
They also showed off his alternate helmet that has a cool effect when you use his 4th ability.
Of course, many Many times when we release a new Warframe, of course, people ask, well, what about his alt helmet?
Oh. Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Were you just gonna ask? All right. So he's got like a jet helmet here. You can see the
Oh,
back.
that's cool.
The back of it is like this big old. There you go.
It's like a it's like a engine.
Yes.
Yeah. Rocket Man. Like a trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. God Mode and Infinite Energy people are giving you the full.
Does it change state when you go into the fourth again?
With
I
this
don't know-
helmet?
I don't know if it's set up yet. Maybe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, nice. It is. Oh, cool.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
Yeah, I like it.
So overall, Gauss looks like a frame that can move really fast, cause some crowd control, and buff himself. So I think he'll fit in pretty well with how people play the game these days. Oh, and I almost forgot, his passive is that his shield recharge rate increases while he's moving, and he looks like he'll be doing a lot of moving, so that'll be useful for him. Now if you've been playing with your fellow Tenno and you look at them and say, wow, I really like their color scheme, and you find that they also been just totally annihilating enemies, and you'd love to have the same mod loader as them, Pablo's been working pretty hard behind the scenes to put together a little something that I think you would like.
Are you tired of looking basic? Have you spent countless hours trying to look cool just to end up looking like this? We have the solution for you. Introducing LoadLink. All you need is a more fashion-minded Tenno to share their look with you. Then you can try it on for yourself. Oh, look at you. But wait, there's more. If you act now, you'll also get mod config link for no additional price. Get yours now. What are you waiting for, Tenno? Alright, the update.
Oh my god.
So,
Better than TennoCon.
so in an upcoming update, you're going to be able to link. So thank you, Pablo. Thank you, Pablo.
Now, seeing how helpful and sharing the Warframe community generally is, I can see this being pretty useful for players helping other players with earlier builds or even later builds whenever they get up to that point.
Maybe you can link it directly from here. Aha, you can. You just click link config in chat. So you could link this.
Make the Lotus proud.
And
We
then,
could get some
Yeah,
leftover tags
yeah,
there.
no, I get-
Okay.
so then if people want to match your Volt loadout, you can, yeah. So if you want to link someone, any build you have,
Yep.
you simply do that. I don't know if it's going to work on this build, so I'm not going to click it.
Click it.
All right.
Click it.
Oh, it works. So then you can just click apply mods, and
Yep.
if you have them, they'll just go right on.
So kudos to Pablo for putting this together. Some other additional quality of life improvements include moving the capture button to the upper right corner, so now it's more visible and easier to access. And they're updating your loadout management screen to allow your favorite loadouts as well as set custom images to use glyphs, so you can easily identify which is which. And I think Steve was pretty impressed by this.
Your loadout screen is also now getting a lot of requested features. You'll be able to favorite some loadouts. So say, for example, if I love my Volt Prime one, you can star it and you'll get it there.
Steve, you're
Oh
still
my
clapping.
god, this
clapping.
is amazing!
You can also set custom images for your loadouts. So if you have a Volt one and say you want it to be like your super cool one,
Yeah.
for example, you know, like if I wanted to start my Wukong Prime one, we can take a look at that. So this will be a way for you to better manage your loadouts.
Holy shit! That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, after the Empyrean demo, apparently players had a lot of questions, and they answered a few during this dev stream. So their current goal is to release Empyrean in the fall of this year. The dry dock will be built like a room in your dojo, and your capacity will be increased slightly with it. The goal is to release the dry dock before Empyrean to help you prepare for it, so hopefully the new Orbiter look will also be included at the same time as this. They didn't have any info to share about the type of resources or how much you'll need, so we'll still have to wait to hear about that. They also mentioned that there'll be a few planets in deep space, so this will be interesting to see if they allow us to land and explore these planets in future updates. They talked a little bit about the Duviri Paradox that they showed off at TennoCon, and basically the man in the operator suit is your Tenno but older, and the resemblance to Hayden Tenno from Dark Sector is purely a coincidence. So as your operator ages and gets older, your cosmetics will technically scale up, but Steve was being quite mysterious about that and not giving any actual details. They also showed a lot of artwork for the Dax, his sword, as well as his horse. They also discussed the Shawzin emote. So if you own the Shawzin decoration, you'll be able to add the ability to play it in the future update. And Rebecca took a little time to try to play some tunes for us.
A lot of you had feedback on PC about
We should,
the...
once again, this is Pablo
Yeah,
as well.
so
yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
decorations we shipped was the Shawzin. Pablo, in an evening,
Yep.
thought, "What could we let players play it?" The answer is yes. It kind of works. I don't know if the notes are final, so I'm a
The
little...
notes are not
The
final.
notes
Yeah,
are
I
not
know, yeah.
final, but it does work. I'll
Yeah.
show you.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
There is going to be, Elise did these animations. She's working on, I think they're going to try and get some.
The plucking?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Great.
we have the animation team working on it. So if you own the cosmetic, I believe the plan is that you'll just have this emote automatically.
Yeah.
And it should work in squads.
Oh, if you have the Shawzin, you get this
Yeah,
emote. That's
if you
cool.
have the Shawzin, you get the emote. That's
So
the
it should
way.
work so then we can be playing together.
Yeah, so you could
Alright.
do like a pre-mission.
So we can jam in the
kumbaya.
relays and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Relays, I don't think it works. I think it's squad.
The new Wukong Deluxe skin was shown minus the shoulder pads, and it does vary a little from the original artwork, so some people are happy, some people don't really like the change. I don't know, what do you guys think about it? Speaking of deluxe skins, they also showed off Harrow's deluxe skin, which kinda had a little bit of a Destiny Warlock vibe to it. Either way, it looked great to me, and I'm not a Harrow player, but I think Harrow mains will be pretty impressed and will like that look. And the way that the forearms and the torso seem to be kind of connected by some kind of energy, it reminds me a little bit of the Mag Deluxe skin. And finally, for deluxe skins, you remember that Zephyr Deluxe skin that they showed off a long time ago? Well, it's looking a lot more polished and hopefully it'll be in the game, soon TM. Other little things mentioned were that Vauban's rework was looked at. Nothing concrete has been done there, so I wouldn't expect any changes coming for him anytime soon. A lot of work is still being done on Melee 3.0. However, they're still not ready to talk about it publicly, so we'll have to wait on that as well. They changed Vote, so he no longer has a stiff skirt, so there's a little claw physics there, and that'll be coming soon. If you were hoping for updates or changes to Dark Sector, then I wouldn't hold my breath because that seems to have been put on the back burner, so I wouldn't think about that for a while. One last thing I'll mention is how they showed off how the Grineer looked before they started cloning them and making them ugly. Which makes me wonder, are they going to go into a storyline or a quest that shows how the Grineer just fell so far from grace and how they got to the point where they are currently? That might be an interesting thing to see. So as per usual, you guys can hit up the comment section. Tell us what you think about Gauss, his abilities, are you hyped for it? Do you like the finalized deluxe look for Wukong, or do you prefer how it was before they made the changes? Now as always, like the video if you liked it, don't if you don't. Be sure to leave Tactical Potato some well wishes for a speedy recovery, and as always, thanks very much for watching.